Most people are fascinated by abandoned places. Not because they're empty, but because they feel unfinished. Like something was interrupted and never allowed to end properly. This hospital stood on the edge of the city for decades, sealed off after a sudden shutdown. No official explanation. No redevelopment plans. Just silence. Urban legends claimed it closed overnight. Patients gone. Staff vanished. Equipment left exactly where it was used for the last time. To most people, it was just another decaying building. To explorers, it was an unanswered question waiting in the dark.
Keep your weight low. We're close.
5 explorers decided to document it. Not thrill seekers, documentarians. Their goal was simple. Record the truth before the building was demolished. They brought 3 cameras, 1 body cam, 1 handheld, 1 static camera meant to stay behind as a reference point. They planned a 2-hour sweep, in and out. No overnight stay, no risks. That was the plan. The hospital entrance was already open when they arrived. The doors weren't broken. They were unlocked. That detail never sat right with them. Abandoned places usually resist entry. This one seemed to expect it. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped immediately. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. Enough to feel wrong. The air smelled sterile, like disinfectant that hadn't faded with time. As if someone had cleaned the floors recently. The first floor was quiet. Wheelchairs lined the walls. Paper charts still hung outside patient rooms. Names were written on them. Dates from years ago. None marked discharged. They joked nervously. You can hear it on the audio humor used to cover discomfort. At the stairwell, the handheld camera caught something strange. A flicker of light from above. They assumed it was a reflection. Old glass. Broken mirrors. Anything but what it felt like. The static camera was set up near the entrance, facing the hallway. Time-stamped, recording continuously. That camera would later become the only witness. On the second floor, the hospital changed. The walls were scratched, doors partially open, as if forced from the inside. Medical beds were overturned. IV stands bent. This floor didn't look abandoned, it looked evacuated. One explorer mentioned hearing footsteps. The others didn't respond. The audio spike suggests they heard it too. The footsteps didn't echo like theirs. They were slower, irregular, almost dragging. They continued anyway. That's what people do when fear hasn't fully decided what it is yet. The maternity ward was next. Cribs lined the room, mobiles still hanging above them. One mobile was moving. There was no wind, no open windows. The movement was subtle but continuous. They stopped filming for a moment. You hear breathing. Someone whispers, "Let's go back." Instead, they moved deeper. The body cam captured a hallway not shown on any floor plan they found online. The walls were newer. The paint wasn't peeling. The lights were still on. That's when the radio interference started. Static bursts interrupting their communication. Words distorted. Names repeated. One voice came through that wasn't theirs. "Stay," it said, clear enough to be understood. They argued. One wanted to leave. Two wanted answers. One never spoke again after this point. The handheld camera drops suddenly. The lens cracks. The footage keeps recording. What it captures is mostly floor. Shadows crossing. Bare feet. The body cam turns sharply. A door slams shut at the end of the hall. They run. Footsteps pounding, breathing frantic. The hospital sounds different now. Louder. Alive. Then silence. The next footage comes from the static camera near the entrance. Hours pass. Nothing moves. The timestamp keeps running. At 3:17 a.m., the hallway light flickers. A figure appears briefly at the edge of frame. Not fully visible. Just enough to be wrong. The camera microphone records breathing. Close. Not human. At 3:21 a.m., the camera is picked up. The footage shakes violently. A glimpse of a corridor not seen before. Then, the camera is placed carefully on the floor, facing the exit. No one ever walks out. When authorities entered the hospital days later, they found nothing except one camera, still recording.